Because yeah, the problem is if I don't get that attract orb, like, immediately, there's nothing I can do. Like, okay, maybe garlic level 2, and even then, that's kind of dicey. What if you went behind the table? That'd be interesting. I could give it a shot. Anyway, so Twitch drama happens. One streamer reacts to the next, each watching clips of each other, reacting to each other, talking about whatever the issue is. On a conceptual level, it's freaking ghoulish in terms of content, and it's been something that, I mean, we do forever. Let's be honest, like, this is just kind of part of human nature to gossip about each other kind of unhappily. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that, like, oh, there's the attract orb. Okay, that's a big plus. Shorts were riding up. Let's see. But it's kind of freaking ghoulish to do, to turn potentially somebody else's misery into content in any way, shape, or form. And has anybody ever come into your stream to ask you to react to drama? Oh, absolutely. To this day, I have no idea who Amaranth is, but I have had a lot of people ask me to react to who she is, and I do not want to know, and I don't actually care. Please don't tell me about them. I have no interest. Same thing with, I mean, quite a lot of different creators. I just have no interest. You know, are they one of my friends? And did they say something truly horrid that I need to know about as a person? Okay, maybe. You know, if I find out in the next, you know, week that Orbital Potato has an actual death laser and, you know, has carved his face into Peru, then I might need to know about that for a lot of reasons. But, you know, apart from that kind of stuff, I really don't. So, I mean, I guess easiest example was a couple of years ago. Do I want the magic wand? Yeah. Because that's the only thing we can. That's one of the only ways I can protect myself against the mid boss. A couple of years ago, I was hosting a friend who actually hopped on stream and spent the first 20 minutes of the stream actually just saying kind of really mean things about me. And, like, realistically, from my perspective, like, I could have taken it if it was, like, in private and we would have talked it through. But the fact that it was this, like, really public airing of grievances very much switched it from being, like, you know, okay, I can work with this to, wow, no. And, you know, ended the friendship over it because it was not acceptable. And admittedly, I found out about it on my own in that situation, but in a lot of cases, I might not have normally. And so, you know, that's the kind of drama that I'm willing to kind of get into and talk about just because, like, that directly affects me. But in a lot of cases, no, I don't want to get too involved in these things unless it's, like, weirdly important or existential for the platform. So I guess a couple episodes I was talking about, like, a creator I used to be a fan of. Or, I mean, the Factorio thing, you know. Oh, well, I guess with the Factorio thing, like, that is kind of quote-unquote drama that I want to be aware of because I don't want to support a game or a media franchise or anything by somebody that I specifically object to on a very moral level. Okay, haven't died yet. That's a good sign. I think maxing out garlic and then switching over to whip is probably the best way for me to survive. However, I think this might be the run to at least not horribly die before 10 minutes. I mean, the fact that I'm actually getting EXP here is big. Do I want to grab the clover? Maybe. Because what do I have? And what do I need? Because I need the tome. And maybe the spinach? See, why clover? You're not getting treasure boxes? Because it gives me 4 slots here. But yeah, you're right. It's not that helpful. So let's stick to the magic wand for the time being. Thought, does the candle affect the attract orb? The candelabrador. Oh, shit. You know, we can check. Because Magnet is currently 175. We'll see if it goes up next time I get another level in the Candelabrador. I would certainly hope so, but I'm not betting on it. But that would be really nice. Let's grab the Bibble, though. But yeah, so I guess kind of in terms of drama that I like to be made aware of. A couple years ago, I covered a game by some very vehemently anti-trans developers, and I didn't know. Mainly because the information didn't come out until, like, after I had already played the game. But somebody came in and was just like, hey, you know, do you know what these developers just did? And I was like, nope. And then I looked it up and I'm like, well, and deleted my series. And that sucks. Magnet does not raise based on base area. I hope they fix that, because I think that'd actually be really nice. Just in terms of, like, why not increase Magnet to obscene range? Because the big thing that's going to kill me here is just the EXP maxing out on the periphery in a way that I can't retrieve it, and that's gonna be what does me in. Wait, what devs? The game was called Heartbeat. I don't really want to specifically advertise for them in any way, shape, or form by, like, saying the name, but I might as well, just in case you want to stay away from it yourselves. And if you're one of those weirdos that's like, oh, it's an anti-trans game, I'm gonna buy it, please leave, I don't want you here. But so, don't confuse this with Heartbound, which is a completely different game that is, as far as I know, much, much nicer by much, much better developers. At least my Magnet range is now 233. That's pretty good. I see, like, a couple that we're not picking up, and, like, worst comes to worst, that go up just a smidge. But I think I'm just not going to move. Actually, I'm going to put my controller on the table so I don't actually bump stuff. Can I just... Oh. Well, I guess I could use the mouse. Garlic. Just keep maxing garlic. There we go. But yeah, so finding that kind of thing out is actually kind of big news for me, just because it's like, okay, need to excise that from my life. Or, like, you know, never play this game again or something like that. It's easy enough. But, so with the whole kind of React Twitch meta, where you're reacting to some spicy take that somebody said, almost invariably what it ends up leading to is this kind of, I don't want to necessarily call it, like, it's kind of like an Ouroboros situation. But the, effectively you end up having everybody just eating each other instead. Instead of actually, like, making anything new or interesting, all of it just kind of ends up being purely about the concept of being upset and outraged at each other. The beast eating its own tail until it's dead. Exactly. Let's get the Bibble up. Yeah, feedback loop of toxicity, and not in a good way. Never in a good way, generally. And, like, I've definitely had some friends that I stopped being friends with because they very much would feed into that. Purity testing and some other things. Like, no matter how much I, like, kind of embodied whatever movement because I was who I was or something else, I just would never fit in with them, so I just was not welcome anymore. And small bits like that, and it's just kind of like, when you feed into that specific mentality, you've lost, and there's almost nothing you can do to kind of pull out of that, if that makes sense. Wait, what? Purity testing? Specifically, like, the idea of you're either with us or you're against us. And I feel like the internet very much feeds into this feedback loop, that oftentimes there are no multiple opinions that can be had on any specific issue. That specifically you're either reacting positively or negatively, just because I almost want to call it like the perpetual game of internet telephone. And that anybody that has, like, a nuanced opinion gets lost. And so much of this actually has to boil down to Twitter, and a couple other things that Twitter and Twitch clips and YouTube shorts and people's attention span. And headlines, actually. You can point to a lot of these things, but the internet very much has ruined people's attention span. To the point where many people will only pay attention to a news article for its headline. Most people will only read the top tweet from a person. Most people will only watch a clip from a longer discourse, as opposed to, you know, the whole story. And obviously, oftentimes, you know, there might not be more to it than that. Or if somebody's saying something truly heinous, then maybe you don't need to hear anything else either. But so with this whole kind of back and forth react thing, you very much run this very negative issue where everybody is focused on that one soundbite, that quick hit of, is this person good or bad? And I mean, even now, I was just talking about that, how I can feed into that, the idea of finding out if like a developer is someone that I need to support anymore. You know, I only needed to see one comment from them to cut them off entirely. Yeah, you want the full story, then subscribe. And so like I don't know what the drama was recently going on, but it was this chain of reactions, and almost immediately you could really tell that they were just watching short clips of each other. At least from what I could tell. I don't, like, maybe there was more discourse on this, but it always feels like it's just this quick soundbite. And whenever you're watching like a streamer or something, and you're like, oh, but what do you think about what so-and-so said? But the answer is like, it can be taken out of context, but even beyond that, for me to form an opinion on something, I really need to sit down and look at it for a while, and decide one way or another. And I can't just like instantly have an opinion based on 5 seconds of what somebody said. What was a good one a while ago? I remember seeing something that somebody had posted about being mad that there were this is garbage. Why is this garbage? Because I don't want Santa water. Because we need space for the pigeons. I guess I'll go for the bracer just because. There's also the problem of oversaturation. You can only pay attention to read so much. Oh yeah, I mean, there's constantly so many things going wrong. But I remember a while ago, somebody had made a comment effectively about how, you know, you're spoiled if you grew up in an area with trees. And I was just like, what? What? I was very confused and kind of offended by it. And, you know, I could have just like, you know, gone off right then and there and just be like, what do you mean? You know, blah, blah, blah. I feel like that's not meaningful. God damn it, give me pigeons. Do we want to go duplicator? No. I'm going to keep leveling these for a little while. Because, right, we still need the rune tracer for the Bibble. Otherwise, we're in trouble on that regard as well. Anyway, so I looked into it, and I was just like, okay, what is this problem with, like, trees? And it was talking specifically about how, like, inner city neighborhoods, you can tell if you're in a nice part of town or a not nice part of town based on the amount of trees and density of them and, like, how many parks you have. And so if you're in a poorer part of the city, you have considerably less trees and vegetation and nature areas that are immediately accessible to you. And then, oh, do the passive abilities ever evolve? Do pigeons require anything but each other to evolve? I'm not going to be able to evolve anything if I can't move, can I? Well, that changes the context of a lot of what I'm doing. Whatever. I mean, honestly, double pigeon isn't so bad. Maybe we'll get lucky and a boss will die on me and give me a chest. Depends on the suburbs or not here. Yeah, I mean, it varies a lot, but when it comes to city planning, you often see the richer neighborhoods tend to have the nicer amenities just default. It doesn't even surprise me too much, but, you know, I looked into that and I was just like, holy shit, like, this person is kind of right, though. Because, like, even beyond, this is one of my favorite topics to just bring up when it comes to income inequality, because it messes me up so much thinking about it. But, like, do we want the Spellbinder? Yeah. I'll grab it anyway. Because that keeps the pigeons up anyway. But apparently, like, having all that vegetation makes like a 10-degree temperature difference between like just being around outside, which is wild. Not just even shade, but like the air is cooler in those areas and just some other things. And it's just always drives me nuts finding out about these things. But yeah, I wouldn't have known about that if I hadn't sat down and actually read about it for, I mean, admittedly it was like only a half hour, so I don't have that nuanced of an opinion. But if I just looked at that single tweet and said, or made an opinion then and there, I would have been in trouble. But the problem is that social media, all on all fronts, not just Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, so on and so forth, they very much all benefit heavily on that outrage, and they want you to be mad about it immediately. So I remember like a while ago, oh gosh, I mean, I could say this about like literally any major controversy that goes by, because most major controversies only have a lifespan of about 24 hours, and even then it's maybe about 12. Stacking those orbs was invaluable. Oh yeah, there's no way I would have been able to survive this if I didn't max out the attract orb immediately. But, you know, you probably noticed this with a lot of controversies. Not all of them, but most of them kind of disappear within a 24-hour period because people's attention spans are kind of limited, but also, you know, I'm sure there's some amount of, like, algorithmic manipulation that says, like, okay, people are bored of this now, move on. And so certain trending topics fall off trending because, you know, social media companies are very much carefully constructed houses of cards across the board. Not just Twitter. It's everywhere. Do I want Empty Tome? Yeah, Empty Tome is way better than anything else you could possibly get. I think I saw research where Twitter trends last a few hours and get shorter and shorter. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Speak for yourself. I'm still on Kony 2012. I can't help you there, bud. How's it going, Rito? Like, I'm still mad about some things from, like, back in those days, but obviously can't do much about it. But yeah, and there are definitely some things that people like lean on for much longer and think about for much longer. Oh, come back, Bat. I need you to die on me. Don't die out there. I need you to die on me. No, come back. Come closer. Come on. You can brave it. Just don't die. Don't die in the bookshelves. Who knows? Maybe it'll just warp on top of my head. We will see. I might just have to pick up the Santa Water and give up on the pigeons. But I can at least max out some other things first. It's not dead yet, but I don't think it's reaching me. Hey, thank you, Dr. 506, for the Prime sub as well. Thanks so much. But so as part of this kind of whole like 12-hour outrage cycle that a lot of social media kind of operates off of, there's this very like instinctual demand of either I say my piece now or it's forgotten and no longer relevant. And I think that remains true of quite a lot of things. Well, now we got 2 mid-bosses. Time to punch them out of the bookshelves. Get out of here. Who cares anymore? You know what? Whatever happens, happens. I might honestly want to pick up the axes, not because they're going to be useful, but because the axes might cover a specific part of this defensive line. Then again, they're really only coming from the right and left, so I don't know how useful that'd be. I could also go for the knives just to attack forward, which would be funny. Where are the pigeons? Cripes! Is working far better than I would have expected. It's baffling. Oh, the bat did die. I don't see the EXP it dropped though. Hey, pigeon. Santa Water might have actually been better. But Pigeon. I don't know. What do you guys think? Should I commit to full statue or should I pick up some chests at some point? Oh, but no. Because it doesn't work that way. Chest that you get before you have the full requirements for the evolution will not actually get you the evolution. Full statue. Alright. We ain't moving. Commit to the bit. I like it. Like this poor Medusa lady. Just absolute no chance. I do appreciate the double whammy between the book and the garlic, though it is kind of impressive how useless the books are with minimal projectiles. And maybe upgrade levels. I actually don't know what level my, I do not know what level my book is at, so it's probably not peak book yet. I think it goes up to 4? Yeah, it's not peak book. I could go Santa Water, but I'm really holding out for them pigeons. Surprised the chests don't magnetize to you. I kind of wish they would. For obvious reasons. Every once in a while I see something like actually explode there. It must be the Banshees. So what makes this game so good? It's such a simple idea, and yet it's so addictive and makes you want to do more. I can't figure out what's causing my brain to do this. So there's a couple of different reasons. Hey, Pichon, pigeons! Got it. So I think for starters is very much, I'm going to call it a budget banger. And Medusa did drop a chest. So one of the things that works so well for it is it's very short. That you really can one more run. You die 10 minutes in, that's only a third of the run, and you can get back to where you were in almost no time. It's not like Darkest Dungeon where you lose a character and that's like hours of investment gone. So that's the first thing, that like very much there's kind of that feeling of like speed. That most other roguelikes, you finish the run and maybe you do like one more, but you can't really do like 4. Like, I have been streaming for almost 4 hours and it frankly doesn't feel like that, but it also blows me away a little bit that, you know, this has held my interest for that long. I think this might actually be my longest session of Vampire Survivors. Previously, I'd only been doing like 2 hours, maybe 3 tops, and that this today just ate my attention, and I'm not really too mad about that. So there's that, but also the game's really cheap. Like the $3 price tag just immediately gives it that kind of feeling of like, I really enjoy this. With most video games, there's kind of this I don't want to call it an expectation of like, I need to get my money's worth out of that, and therefore the game has to prove itself to me. This game has nothing to prove. Like, the visuals are junky, but it's fine. The core gameplay loop is simple, but it is fine. The combination system, you know, trying to figure out the peak build. Hey, can I make this stupid build work? Where I have not moved since the beginning of this run. And can I make this work? Well, I've managed to last 20 minutes without moving, and it hasn't screwed me over. I'm actually quite shocked that this is keeping enemies at bay, but also that the attract orbs are doing enough work that I don't have to worry about anything. Yeah, it's the ultimate Montgomery Scott video game. Under promise and over deliver. Yeah. I mean, there's a couple other games that kind of fit that bill. Like, I would very comfortably say, like, Hollow Knight. Same thing. I wouldn't say it under promise so much as it just so heavily over delivered that it just impossible to complain about the game. Hey, Wonder, first time catching your stream. Just want to say hi. Well, hello. But beyond that, you know, I'm constantly really addicted to this idea. Addicted? it's really compelling finding that peak build. You know, what works, what doesn't. What is the best way to pull this off? Specifically this statue run. Like, obviously this is not how you're supposed to play the game, but because the game is so relatively simple that I can do this. You know, the fact that I can do this is so compelling that very few games really give you that leeway to screw around, that being in this specific situation is really fun, because most games have you locked under a very specific path. And the ones that don't are usually the ones that actually feel maybe the most compelling. Wonder how you're going to deal with a boss that you can't knock back. I am going to die. That is how I'm going to deal with it. I'm going to die, and that's it. It sounds like some of the calculus that made Hades so replayable. Yup. Yeah. I mean, Hades is kind of probably the perfect comparison for this, where every run you're like, okay, so I want to do like this run, and then the game gives you something different. You adjust and you make it work, and then it just gets, it scales from there, and every run kind of forms this own identity, especially because Hades' upgrade system is absurdly good, more so than most. But that, yeah, I think that's a good comparison to make in that. That attract orb covers a lot of area that the max upgrade, at the max upgrade, more than most games would have it cover. I'm so happy that that's the case, because otherwise I'd be in trouble. But like, so many roguelikes especially, and just games in general, have kind of this weird expectation as well to them, that the mastery is a legitimate challenge to some degree. Like, I love Dead Cells, but I'm not good at the game. I'm reasonably good at it, but like every time I get to the last boss, I am exhausted, my hands hurt, I'm just tired. And like, I have massive amounts of respect for my buddy V, who can play that game like it's nothing. But like, that's I don't want to say it's like an imposition playing that kind of game, but to get good at it, it takes a lot of time and effort. To get good at this game, you just need to vaguely understand what upgrades are reasonably decent, and then also fill out the meta progression. Then past that point, it just doesn't matter. And then it's more about screwing around and having fun than really putting time into like honing your skills and so on and so forth. What did you do to break the game? This is a mod, or is the layout part of the patch? I'm in the public beta. That's the only thing I've done. I'd love to see some mods for this game. Boy, can you imagine mods for this game? I'd love it. So I've never played Hades. Would you recommend it to someone who usually doesn't play roguelikes? Okay, so Hades is yes and no. So Hades has a couple of things going for it that makes it actually a really good introductory roguelike to get into. Namely, it has a story. Most roguelikes do not have a story, and if they do, the story is bad. Hades has an incredibly compelling story, handcrafted by some of the most incredible developers to ever exist, as far as I'm concerned. The music is incredibly soulful and well made. The voice acting is peerless and always on point. The gameplay is snappy and quick, which can be a negative thing at times. If you're not big on like hard stuff, Hades could actually be a bit of an issue. Watching this game feels a bit like looking through a kaleidoscope. Yeah. But Hades also has like a wide amount of variety. The one problem is it's kind of long. And wait, I got a chest. How did I get a chest? It must have just warped on me. Well, we get Bloody Tear, which is actually probably one of the most powerful things I could have gotten. Mainly on merit of it's gonna heal me. Yeah, boss died on you, I think. I think it actually died south of me. It spawned south, died south, and warped onto me, which is great. Let's see, God mode on Hades is also a great way to get into roguelikes. Yeah, that's the other thing. That they specifically have one of the best easy modes I've ever seen, where you can fine tune it, but every time you die, the game gets a little easier. until you kind of hit that sweet spot where you're not dying anymore. And then it feels good. Obviously, it can get a little too easy. But I left it on God mode for at least a substantial portion of my like early days of playing that game, and it made it a lot more palatable. That's actually an interesting point. Something easy is not less fun. A lot of people make fun of me for playing Here's the Storm. Well, not anymore, thanks Bobby. But I've never had as much fun playing LOL as I've had playing HOTS. Well, it's because challenge is not necessarily fun. Did I move? Nope, haven't moved. Wait, did I get another there? Shoot. Oh boy. Okay, here's death. Or not? Oh my god, he can't reach me. He's getting knocked back too much. My only hope is that I level up again before he dies. I don't think it's gonna happen, but if it does, I will be happy. Because he's glitching out directly on top of me. Yes, okay. We have to get the King Bible. So if he dies, he should drop a chest that I should be able to pick up, which, if we're lucky, is going to upgrade the Bible for me. There we go. Yeah! Oh, me of little faith. I did not think I was going to be able to pull this off, but here we are. Cheater. Look, man, I try my best. I think this boss just has bad hitboxes and his damage is above where he moves. Look, if that's the case, then so be it. We're gonna make it the whole 30 minutes AFK run is a possibility. Not only is it a possibility, I've done it. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna get a chest off of her. I was impressed at 10 minutes. Me too. I was not expecting this to work, and yet here we are. Come on, just shift a little bit further south. I was kind of, oh, my books are kind of pushing her. Like, she makes it over the left a little bit every single time. It might work. Only move at max level. I don't know. We ain't moving. The only way I'm moving is if the Grim Reaper shoves me. This isn't even behind the table. I'm not even sure if being behind the table would have actually been the way to do it. I grabbed the magic wand. I would have loved to evolve the pigeons here. Oh yeah, we might actually get another chest. Because she's just tough enough. I'm gonna have to post this to the Vampire Survivors Discord so they can nerf the build. No. I think moving to the floor is a requirement for this to work. Oh, absolutely. But honestly, considering I literally have not moved since the beginning of the run, like my controller has turned off. At this point, I'm just clicking to purchase things. If we don't kill the Medusa and we start getting the red gems, we might actually be able to upgrade the pigeon to its final form. That'd give Wander an achievement. Boy, I would love an achievement named after me in this game. I'd be the happiest camper. I wish that happened more often, but unfortunately, I'd have to do shit like Year 10 Robusta, and that's just a little outside of my capabilities. I am a boring person. I'm not a boring person. It's just I'm allergic to the phrase "get good," because one of my biggest problems with the idea of "get good" is get good requires you to actually get good, and I find with a lot of games where get good is kind of this requirement to progress, is very rarely do those games actually have. Oh no, we got two Medusa bosses just chilling. With games that force you to get good, very rarely do they let you screw around. At least not to the same extent that an easier game would be. Kind of same thing with the League of Legends versus Hero of the Storm conversation. If you're screwing around in League of Legends, your teammates are going to be mad at you, most likely. Unless you're playing on, like, Smurf League or something. But most likely, your friends are going to be generally pissed because you're not taking things seriously. And so there's that kind of like immediate negative reaction to you know, please pay attention. We need you for this. However, your 10 Robusta was a broken, unbalanced nightmare. And yet I will continually give you props for that because I can't, even then, I still can't do it at the moment. Somewhat ironically, Dark Souls invites a lot of screwing around. But I would say most of that screwing around is more possible in Dark Souls 1 and 2 than 3. And even more possible than in Bloodborne. I could be wrong, but from my experience, my favorite Dark Souls games have always been the ones that are a little bit easier, so you can screw around a little bit more. Oh, come on! It's right there. It's fine. Hey, we hit max level. But, so, Dark Souls 2, for example, is my favorite because it really has that kind of feeling of, like, you can just screw around to Dark Souls 2 and get away with it because the game is not really that hard. It's hard, but it's not, like, absurdly so. Whereas I found Dark Souls 3 was a little bit faster paced, so you couldn't screw around quite to the same. And then, like, Bloodborne, I don't know, I just need to play more Bloodborne one way or another. But I feel like if you make your game too hard, you kind of have that problem. Too hard or too challenging, that you have that problem where it no longer feels like you're really having fun anymore, and it's really this just pure challenge. I think it's part of the reason why TF2, even though it was a very, like, fiercely competitive game, there's kind of that feeling of screwing around with, there's that feeling of screwing around in Team Fortress 2 and that kind of just goofy energy. Whereas, like, Counter-Strike and Valorant and a bunch of these other ones are so much, like, focused on victory that it doesn't quite have that same goofy nature. And I think an amount of it is also branding. But, you know, for me, I love the goofier games where you can just kind of mess around and not worry about it. I did a no move run. I did a full AFK run. I can't believe it. I turned this game into an idle game. Wait, do you think Dark Souls are hard? All they are memory games. No, they're actually... Dark Souls games are legitimately difficult. The thing is, if you put enough time into them, they're actually really, really easy. Yes, they are memory games, but not just that. They're memory games with a forced response component. It's not like you can... what's a good example of, like, a legitimately... They're not like, Into the Breach, which is also kind of a memory game and strategy game and some other things, where with enough study and practice, Into the Breach becomes cakewalk. The problem with Dark Souls is you still need to actually be there and react and a bunch of other things. And you can't just say that that's easy unless you've put hundreds of hours into it, at which point it becomes cakewalk. But for a lot of people, that's not super doable. And so that's why I'm bringing up this kind of whole get good thing. Because, like, with Dark Souls 2, you can goof on that like your first run. Dark Souls 3, you try and do that and you get your face handed to you by the dancer. Yeah, I've watched a streamer fight and die against the same optional boss 49 times. It is very hard. Yep. And so, on the opposite side, like, once you've gotten really good at it, then it's not so bad. But that initial bit is just absolutely going to kick your teeth in. I'm gonna max growth out this time around. We'll see what I can do with that. Because I know there's ways to kind of cheese this to make your money go further. You don't really need that. Oh, this is more expensive. That's fine. Or not? What? Oh, shit, I'm just out of money. I don't actually know if I want recovery, though. I think growth is better. I'll pay for it. Recovery is actually good? Eh. No, it is actually probably good. So what's the new achievement and evolution they added? They added the new... Oh, I must have accidentally hit refund power-ups as I was going by. Or no, I shouldn't do that. What's the most expensive here? Okay, so luck is more expensive. Cooldown is more expensive. And growth is more expensive. So 420, 1260, 630, 630. Okay, 780. So we want to get these next. These are all 640 and we don't need the movement speed. I think I should have not done recovery. How expensive is it going to be to level up might the last couple times? Not too bad, but that damage is big. I just, somebody had said specifically if you buy the most expensive things first, you might actually be able to get more out of it. I don't actually know if that's true. But yeah, we'll just get 2 levels in recovery. There we go. God damn it. Stupid refunds power-up thing is right behind. Okay. Cooldown. There we go. Yeah, there's an optimal order, but it doesn't matter too much. That's kind of what I was thinking. Okay. Armor. It's really interesting how expensive armor is, but it makes sense. Because, yeah, having that flat reduction really does go a long way. I'd really be interested in trying to max armor out fully. And seeing what I can do with that. Huh. I actually had less that time. This is really interesting. Hey, thank you, Shinishiki, for the Prime sub as well. Welcome on in. I'm currently trying to min-max my purchases. Something I would have not expected to be a thing. So growth... I wonder, actually, with how expensive growth is, I think maybe I should get growth, then cooldown, then armor. Oh, maybe I should have done armor then cooldown, considering how much. Okay, it's fine. Love your channel. Constantly watching your Twitch and YouTube. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I hope you're enjoying yourself tonight. I don't know. I'm distracted. This whole thing is throwing my brain for a loop. But I think we got it. Okay, wow. We got 4 points in. All right, that's the way to squeak it out. Yeah, it really does make sense. And max greed, get enough coins. It's kind of, but I'd rather have easy runs, more easier runs than not. Okay, do we do one more? Do we have another build